The aggregate scoreline from the last 4 matches between these two teams is 17-2 to Liverpool. So let's find out what we think's going to happen. Cam, welcome. Debut.
Thank you, man.
I want to know your prediction right off the bat.
Right off the bat, whew, I'm going to go for a comfortable Liverpool win. As a United fan, it hurts to say, but I can't see us getting a result. So I'm going to go 3-0. 3-0 Liverpool.
Modest.
Ooh. It's tough to look beyond Liverpool, and despite the fact that they're getting results, but the performances aren't there, I think they're going to do United. United struggle against most teams in the league, let alone Liverpool, who just panned them every single time. So I'm going for a Liverpool 3-1 win. I do think United get on the score sheet, but I do think Liverpool win pretty comfortably.
Oh, I think people sat at home are going, I thought this was going to be 7-8-0. I think personally it'll be 3-1 as well. I don't think it'll be as sort of gung-ho as people expect, like it was last season when it was 7-0. Let's dive into the key areas, the key battles. Liverpool have gained 18 points from losing positions this season, which sort of speaks to your point that they haven't actually been brilliant. What makes them scary is that they can always find a way out of a game. Do Manchester United have a chance? And if they do, how do they have this chance?
No, they don't have a chance. They don't. If you just look at it, Liverpool are not playing that well, but the scary thing about Liverpool right now, not just for Manchester United in this game, but for the rest of the teams that want to try and win this Premier League title, is that they've got players who remember what it's like to win the Premier League. And so if Liverpool just keep in touch and distance with Arsenal and City as it gets into the latter months of the season, they're going to be there or thereabouts come May, because they've got players that know how. Van Dijk's back to his best. Alisson's, of course, one of the best keepers in the league. Mo Salah's Mo Salah, and Trent Alexander-Arnold's the X factor, and now we're seeing Trent in a different perspective. Last season's all about what Trent couldn't do defensively. Now this season, people are forgetting about what he does defensively and concentrating about what he does going forward. And what he does going forward is very, very special. He's a different animal with those new boots as well. He's a different kind of cat. And Trent Alexander-Arnold with something to prove against a Manchester United team that are really flagging. I can't see how Man United stopped them. So it's a case of if Liverpool beat themselves, and that's the chance for Man United to get into the game. But Liverpool are too strong for Manchester United.
I mean, I agree with him. That's the saddest part about it, because I mean, Man United haven't been good at home at all this season, but at the same time, we haven't been great away, and going to Anfield, I can't remember the last time we went to Anfield and picked up a result. It's been such a long time, and we had the 7-0. They've come to Old Trafford and beat us 5-0 before. There's so many results against Liverpool where, look, if it goes well, I remember in the start of last season when it was going left for Man United, and it was the Liverpool result that really kind of kick-started our season. But that was at Old Trafford, and that's when Old Trafford last season was a little bit of a fortress. So now, going into it at Anfield, I just can't see a way of us winning. The injuries, I think Maguire and Luke Shaw came off the other day as well. Varane, he's been out of the action. Now he's probably going to be thrown in. The midfield issues, Bruno is suspended as well. Not like he had the 7-0. Listen, that was the Bruno horror show, you know what I mean? So I'm not really high on him right there. But in terms of he's going to be missing, so that's still a leader on the pitch. And you look at Luke Shaw, Maguire, Bruno, those are guys that are part of the leadership group of Manchester United. So it's a massive, massive concern. We're basically putting all our hopes on Scott McTominay, you know what I mean? Because Rashford was ill. He missed the Champions League game. Martial was ill, missed Champions League game. Højlund still hasn't got any goals in the league. So there's nothing that points towards a Man United win, except from faith, we just praise
Let me put in a potential, not a counter argument, but maybe some hope for Manchester United. Liverpool have conceded 15 goals this season, which is joint lost with Arsenal, but they have conceded a lot of chances.
Yes.
And that's something that Liverpool have done over the previous few years, and I think they've relied a lot on their attacking side of the game. United are underperforming their XG by minus 7.5, which is the worst in the league.
Wow.
That's horrific.
Yeah.
So if it was to come right on this day, Liverpool will concede chances. Rashford potentially in behind, who's obviously been so badly out of form. There may be something there. Is this one where if Manchester United take the lead, they could potentially sit in, force Liverpool onto them and keep trying to hit them on the counter?
It's difficult. If this was at Old Trafford, you might have an argument, but people call them daylight savings Liverpool for a reason, and this is a 4:30 kickoff on a Sunday under the lights at Anfield. There's not a chance, and even if Manchester United take the lead, Liverpool at some point will be attacking the Kop end, and just the momentum of playing at home and they've got so many players that can put the ball in the back of the net, and I know we're going to discuss their attacking options, but this is a Liverpool team. They've just got the know-how, and at the moment they're top of the Premier League. I'm not too sure how in terms of performances, but they'll have too much for Manchester United. A Man United team that you've got a lot of questions about, like you mentioned, Cams. They're missing Bruno Fernandes through a suspension. And Højlund, there's a lot of questions asked. I saw Manchester United fans asking for Martial to be starting over Højlund, and that tells you where Man United are at.
2023.
He's been there since 2015. And he hasn't really shown you much, barring a couple of seasons, and now Man United fans are asking him to start up top. I think Liverpool just going to have too much, and I just love the attacking options of Liverpool. Neil knows this better than most, but Mo Salah is quietly going about having an incredible season yet again, and for me, again, it might be controversial. I think we're seeing the Mo Salah farewell tour, and he wants to get another scalp on his resume before he goes. And Manchester United at Anfield is one of those scalps.
It feels like Liverpool can score 2-3 every game, and if you statistically, we score 1.1 goals a game. You know what I mean? 16 games, 18 goals. So even if we do get one goal against Liverpool, you'd expect, just by law of averages, you would expect Liverpool to get more goals in the end. So and you're talking about the 18 points that you guys have recovered in terms of being goals down and going to win the game. I just don't see, even if we do go 1-0 up, let's say we did and we tried to camp in, we concede too many and we score far too little. So as much as I wanted to come up here and beat my chest and stuff, you know what I mean? But I just can't, honestly, I just can't.
Brother, it's your debut. I was trying to be nice to you. It didn't work. One little area that I do want to talk about with United is Kobbie Mainoo, who I think you're a huge fan of. I've seen your tweets. You also mentioned not having McTominay. Sorry, that McTominay could be Manchester United's biggest goal threat. I'm being suggested maybe McTominay goes out and Kobbie Mainoo comes in. What do you make of Kobbie Mainoo? Do you think this is the sort of game you throw him in?
It's so tough because we did throw him in at St. James Park, probably the top 3 stadium you don't want to go to in the league, alongside Anfield as well. So we did throw him in there, and it didn't go too well. We threw him in at Goodison Park, which again is a tough stadium to go to, and he handled that calmly. I would still play him though. I would throw him in here today because look, Bruno's going to be out. I would put McTominay a little bit higher, and try and do this shadow kind of fake Jude Bellingham kind of thing that he's got going on. You know what I mean?
Never thought I'd hear McTominay and Jude Bellingham.
You know what I mean? He's trying to do this little shadow goal scorer thing that he's got going on. So we'll let him go there. And then I think Kobbie Mainoo about him is that what he has that the other players in our team haven't got is the composure. He wants to get on the ball. It feels like when he's on the ball, there's an extra 2-3 seconds. And that doesn't happen with Amrabat, Casemiro, Bruno, McTominay. And for the fact that he's 18 years old and we're looking at him and being that one, can you calm us down? If Liverpool are swarming, can you be the one that beats the press and stuff? It's a lot to ask for an 18-year-old, but he has the capabilities for it. So I would start him at Anfield. Massive, but I would.
I would start him as well if I was Manchester United. I think this is a season where it looks like there's no hope for Manchester United. I think top 4 is going to be tough for you to finish in, even though you're not that far away from it. But Kobbie Mainoo, when he plays, he's got that composure. And like you say, he can put his foot on the ball. And you heard the way that Bruno talked about him. And I thought it was pretty ironic. I was like, Bruno, you're lauding him for doing it. Why can't you do it?
Why can't you do it yourself?
Why can't you do it? So it was an interesting point about self-awareness from Bruno. But the fact that he can do that, and the fact that a lot of times when teams are going through these transitional seasons, that's where you can find the diamond in the rough. And the shining light for this season might be emerging of Kobbie Mainoo. Yeah. And I saw it with Arsenal with Saka, where Saka was just playing as a result of Arsenal not being very good.
Smith Rowe too.
Smith Rowe as well. Yeah. And as a result, they get minutes under their belt and they become more prevalent players. I know it didn't go too well for him, but Adnan Januzaj was an example of that under David Moyes. He was that one shining light in that season. I think Kobbie Mainoo brings...
Last season, Bajcetic came through. Yeah. All of a sudden, he filled a gap in the team, and now he's injured at the moment.
He's injured, and
when he comes back, he has a role in the team. So
I was just going to say that, like, this happened with Liverpool last season. We didn't have a midfield. Bajcetic comes in, and then suddenly this kid that probably wouldn't get minutes normally, probably the same for Kobbie Mainoo, he's now getting this chance to come in, and you actually get a proper look at him, and you go, handled Everton quite well, did okay at Anfield. Because he's such a good technical footballer, I actually think he'll be better than some of the other guys in that midfield. Yeah. And then you go, maybe we could throw him in at Palace, and then suddenly you finish the season, he's played 20 games, and he's done pretty well, and now you've got a career out of this kid, where normally, as you'll see at the big teams, Januzaj, primary example, didn't cook for about 3 months, shipped him off straight away, get the next guy in. It's just like a conveyor belt of players going in and out. You mentioned Liverpool's forward options. Gakpo or Darwin Núñez this season has been... with the Liverpool fans, I think Liverpool fans I don't know the word, man. We love Darwin Núñez. I love Darwin Núñez, I want to clarify. But Cody Gakpo's got something. There's something about him that you go, he's the safer, nicer option.
Yeah, there's more nuance when it comes to Cody Gakpo, whereas with Nunes, it's an X factor. We've seen him turn up and do ridiculous things in the Premier League this season. If you remember the Newcastle away game where he should come on and change the game, I feel like he's a player that we're all waiting to take that next step. And as a Chelsea fan, people tried at the beginning of the season to compare Nicholas Jackson to Didier Drogba in terms of coming in and not having a great season.
Don't do that again.
Don't ever do that again. For me, Darwin Núñez kind of feels that void or role in terms of when Drogba first came to Chelsea, he was, don't use the word, but he was raw. There was still things to improve, but you saw he had something. He had that dog in him. And Darwin Núñez is that same guy. He's got football amnesia. He'll miss a chance, fluff a touch, and then the next minute he'll put it in the top bins. And I feel like with him, he's great coming off the bench and maybe start with the more nuanced Gakpo, and then if you need something later on in the game, bring on Darwin Núñez.
I would start Núñez. The way he misses chances, and he hasn't scored in a while as well. So I always say, look, when you're winning, people will allow it. You know, it's just when the results start turning that you would really see people talking about Darwin Núñez. But the reason why I would start him is because I think he brings the best out of Mo Salah. I think Mo Salah and Darwin Núñez have an incredible connection. And I was talking about previously, like on my channels, I was talking about the 1-2 punches in the Premier League. Like, you know, you got KDB and Haaland, and you might have a couple others in the league. And I think Darwin Núñez and Mo Salah could easily be the best ones. Maybe not on profile of KDB and Haaland, but in terms of the connection, I think last season all of Darwin Núñez's assists was for Mo Salah, and all of Darwin Núñez's goals, most of them are assisted by Mo Salah too. So, like, both of them are just helping each other all the time. So I think that's a really, really good connection, and that's why I would start him. And you look at the Man United defence, one thing that our defenders don't like is people that move them around. And Darwin Núñez will do. I think Cody Gakpo, yes, he can drop into the midfield, and he's a little bit, as you mentioned, a little bit more clever and stuff. And he did score a brace, I believe it was, last season. But Núñez just gives you something which our defenders don't want to play against at all. And I'm thinking it could potentially be Johnny Evans and Varane. I don't think they want to meet. I don't think they want to see Núñez. Trust me.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. And you see Mo Salah when he talks in interviews, he talks about Darwin Núñez and how he settled in and how it's difficult for him in his first season. But Salah says he's always looking for him, and vice versa as well. Yeah. And when you've got that partnership, I can see what you mean. I just think that, like you said with Cody Gakpo, he pulls defenders into positions that you don't want to be in. And I feel like if you've got a forward who can do that, then you can create space in behind for other players like Diaz or Salah. But either option is great. I wish the clubs that I supported had either of those options. We are struggling with attacking players, but Liverpool got them in abundance, and that's why we expect them to win on the weekend.